Hello everyone and welcome back to Byju's. Let's start with our daily quiz. First question. Consider the following statements with respect to RCS Udan. It was launched in 2016. The primary objective of RCS is to facilitate or stimulate regional air connectivity by making it affordable. And number 3, the scheme envisages providing connectivity to unserved and underserved airports of the country through the revival of existing airstrips and airports. You know the deal. Pause the video, take an attempt, and we'll discuss the solution. So, the Ministry of Civil Aviation had released the National Civil Aviation Policy in 2016, and one of the objectives of NCAP 2016 is to enhance regional connectivity through fiscal support and infrastructure development. In pursuance of that, Udan or Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik was launched as a regional connectivity scheme RCS in 2016. So the first statement stands correct. Now the objective of the scheme is to create affordable yet economically viable and profitable flights on regional routes so that flying becomes affordable to the common man even in small towns. This means that the statement number 2 is correct as well. And finally, the scheme envisages providing connectivity to unserved. When we say unserved airports, these are those airports which do not have more than one flight a day, and underserved airports. Underserved airports are those where there are no operations. So the scheme basically envisages providing connectivity to both unserved and underserved airports through the revival of existing airstrips and airports. So statement number 3 is correct as well. The right answer is D, all of the above. In fact, broad salient features of Udan scheme are being demand driven, affordability of airfare, minimum performance level, and also focus on priority areas like the northeastern region, hilly states, and islands. And this question has been picked because of one PIB article which was published yesterday. 24 routes identified in Assam under the first phase of Udan 4.0. In fact, Udan 3.0 included tourism routes apart from inclusion of seaplanes for connecting water aerodromes and also bringing in a number of routes in the northeastern region under the ambit of Udan. Moving on. Next question. The word Kapila, often seen in news, is related to which of the following? A scheme for IPR registration awareness, protein-rich animal feed, a folk dance form from Manipur, a geological period in the history of Indian subcontinent. The Ministry of Education launched Kapila, which stands for Kalam Program for Intellectual Property Literacy and Awareness. And this campaign was actually launched last year on 15th of October on the 89th birth anniversary of former president and scientist late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. The objectives of the scheme include creating awareness regarding IPR, that is intellectual property rights, in higher educational institutions, enabling of IP protection of inventions which originate from faculty and students of the HEIs or the higher education institutions, development of credit course on IPR, training program on IPR for faculty and students, and sensitization and development of a vibrant IP filing system. See, the idea is that students pursuing education in higher educational institutions will get information about correct system of application process for patenting their inventions, and they will also be made aware of their rights as far as patenting is concerned. And so far, a total of over 46,000 users have been registered for Kapila since its inception. And again, this has been picked up from one PIB article which was published yesterday, Kapila for Patent Awareness. So, the right answer for this question is A. Kapila is a scheme for IPR registration awareness. Moving on to the next question. Question number 3. Consider the following statements with respect to Square Kilometer Array Observatory Council, SKAO Council. Number 1. It is an intergovernmental organization dedicated to radio astronomy. It has recently approved the establishment of the world's largest radio telescope. Its headquarters is in UK. India and USA are among the participating member countries collaborating for this mega science project. SKAO Council is a new intergovernmental organization dedicated to radio astronomy and is headquartered in UK. So the first statement and the third statement, both of them are correct. At the moment, the organizations from 10 countries are a part of SKAO. These include countries like Australia, Canada, China, India, South Africa, among other countries. However, USA is not among the participating member countries collaborating for this mega science project, so statement number 4 is actually incorrect. In fact, SKAO Council held its maiden meeting yesterday, thereby officially approving the establishment of the proposed world's largest radio telescope. So statement number 2 is actually correct. The telescope, proposed to be the largest radio telescope in the world, will be located in Africa and Australia, whose operation, maintenance and construction will be overseen by SKAO. The completion is expected to take nearly a decade at a cost of over $1.8 billion. And India has proposed to fund about 6% of the total SKA budget. So, the right answer for this question is A, 1, 2 and 3. The reason for this question is the meeting which took place yesterday and an article in the Indian Express made in council to meet today to finalize SKA, world's largest radio telescope. Time for a prelims question. With reference to digital payments, consider the following statements. Bhim app allows the user to transfer money to anyone with a UPI enabled bank account. And number 2, while a chip PIN debit card has 4 factors of authentication, Bhim app has only 2 factors of authentication. You can pause the video and take an attempt at the question. Bhim app was actually launched in 2016 and it allows money transfer to UPI enabled bank accounts via Aadhaar enabled payment system. So statement number 1 is actually correct. The Bhim app has not 2 but 3 levels of authentication. For 1, the app binds the device's ID and mobile number. Second, a user needs to sync whichever bank account, UPI or non-UPI enabled, in order to conduct the transaction. And third, when a user sets up the app, they are asked to create a PIN which is needed to log into the app. So statement number 2 stands incorrect and the right answer is A1 only. Time for fact of the day. Sedition. This is in news because of one Indian Express article which talks about one Sharjeel Usmani being booked for sedition in Lucknow FIR. Let's understand this through a question. Which of the following statements with respect to sedition is incorrect? It was not mentioned under the IPC 1860 in its original form. B. It seeks to punish any person who attempts to bring into hatred or excite disaffection towards the nation. C. The punishment may involve imprisonment of 3 years or imprisonment for life, to which a fine may also be added. And D. It has been held to be constitutional by Supreme Court. See, the idea of sedition laws, which were enacted way back in the 17th century in England, were because the lawmakers believed that only good opinions of the government should survive because bad or negative opinions were detrimental to the government and monarchy. And yes, it was not present in the original IPC of 1860 but was inserted later via one section 124A of IPC in the year 1870. So the first statement is actually correct, which is not the answer. And interestingly, the punishment may involve imprisonment of 3 years or imprisonment for life, to which a fine may also be added. This is also correct, which cannot be the answer. In fact, almost all important leaders, including Tilak and Mahatma Gandhi, were booked under this law at some point of time during the freedom struggle. And as far as the validity of the provision itself is concerned, it was upheld by a constitutional bench of the Supreme Court way back in 1962 in one Kedarnath Singh versus State of Bihar. So, yes, it has been held to be constitutional by Supreme Court. This is also correct, which cannot be the answer. So we are left with B. The definition of sedition actually entails disaffection or hatred against the government established by law and not the nation at large. So basically, this law seeks to punish any person who attempts to bring into hatred or excite disaffection towards not the nation but the government established by law. And hence, B is the incorrect statement, which is the answer. So that's all for today. Thank you.